Good morning again, Florida. This is Friday, March 27th. As you know, in the last 24 hours, the United States of America has moved to become the world leader in cases for the coronavirus, and definitely the United States of America is now the epicenter of the pandemic, despite what your leaders have been telling you for the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of months. Um, this is exactly what I was talking about, when I started these videos 5 days ago, that you guys really needed to start taking drastic measures right away to prevent something like this from happening. Again, it's only been 5 days, so the people that are ill today, the people that spiked in the last 24 hours, they were probably already infected when I made that video on Monday. And since then, not a whole lot has been done. Um, which means that, what has happened over the last 5 days, the situation in another 5 days is going to be basically 5 times worse. Um, I really have tried to keep this as apolitical as possible because as I said, this is not an issue of politics. This is not a Democrat-Republican issue. This is a human. This is about life. This is a scientific issue. This is about numbers. This is not about opinions. It's not about political party. Um, Having said that, you should not be listening to what the president says. You should be listening to the scientists. Um, I've left Trump alone during this, mainly because I really feel and or have felt that criticizing the president during this time of something kind of like war is it's not really helpful. Um, it's a waste of energy. So rather than criticize the president directly, the only thing I'm going to tell you is just do not listen to him. You need to find other sources of information. For example, Governor Cuomo in New York, if any of you have seen his press conferences. Now, I'll be honest, I've never really been a fan of his, okay, for various reasons. However, I will say that, Governor Cuomo has shown the exact type of leadership which is needed in this time of like horrific crisis. Strong, honest, intelligent, understands you know, high school level mathematics at least, and he listens to people. And he's a big picture person. He can take a lot of complicated information and digest it and then come up with a working solution from that, and that's the type of person you need to be listening for if you're looking for like leadership from a political leader. But definitely nothing coming out of the White House because it's dangerous. There's no other way to explain it. It's absolutely dangerous. There's so much misinformation. There are so many lies. For example, yesterday with the testing, I was talking to one of my friends in Florida, who actually went for testing to one of the testing sites and was denied the test because and this is yesterday. This is Thursday, and they were denied the test because they hadn't been in one of the hot spots. Okay, now let me explain this to you Americans. Okay, everywhere in America right now is a hot spot because you have open borders. Anybody can travel anywhere basically in so many places. You still have, like the domestic flights, you still have that stuff. Everywhere is a hotspot. The tests should never be denied to anybody. Okay? Like, for example, my aunt wrote me last night and said that, like the county where they live in North Georgia, they don't have any cases. In the surrounding county, they don't have any cases. information like that is misleading because and I wrote her back this morning and I said, you still need to be extremely vigilant because, it is coming to you. There's not going to be one place in the United States where this is not, you're not going to be affected. You really need to stay home. You need to go back. Let me explain to you again what you need to do. You need masks. Okay? And after I explain this to you, I'm going to show you I'm going to talk about some statistics between the Czech Republic and the United States of America where we have taken strict measures and we have results, positive results versus, you guys who still, for some reason, are not taking this seriously. Okay? So you need to have masks. Every time you leave the house, you need to have a mask on. Every time you go to the grocery store, anywhere you go, you have to have a mask. If you're going to be handling things like groceries, wear gloves when you go. Okay? 6 feet. You need to leave 6 feet between the people. Okay? Third thing, when you come home, the first thing you do, you take off your shoes. You slip them off. You don't have time for like ties and stuff. You need to have slip-on shoes, shoe horns, because you don't want to. You don't want to be touching your shoes. First thing you do when you go home, you slip off your shoes. Then you walk straight to the bathroom. You don't touch anything. You don't hug anybody. No kisses. And you wash your hands. Then you wash your face. Then when you bring in your groceries by yourself, you need to rub them down. Disinfect them. And then put them away. And then wash your hands again. Then you can visit your family. There's no reason for you to go anywhere except to buy food for a while. Okay? Hopefully your government will do a little more to help you, especially those of you who, are, paycheck to paycheck or people that, have lost their jobs. Hopefully the government there will do a little more for you than what they've done this week because, for example, like Canada, the UK and Europe, we're taking care of our people. Even me, I'm self-employed and I'm getting money, which I kind of feel guilty. I actually don't want it because, I think I will be able to survive this. I'm going to get hit. I'm going to have a big old economic hit. Fine. I accept that. This is awful for everybody. But, you guys just need to wait and hopefully, your government will take care of you. On the other side, it's not winter, so nobody's going to freeze to death. Okay? You need to focus on food. You need to make sure that you have enough food. And like I said before, you need to go out and buy food for 3 or 4 weeks. Okay? Anybody who's telling you that this is going to be over soon, like I saw, the thing, America wants to get back to work. No. That will only make this situation worse. And by worse, I mean by having an absolutely outrageous amount of death. Okay? Now, let me explain this thing to you about exponents. Many of you probably already understand this, but this is the thing. An exponent, because we're talking about exponential growth, okay? And that's what you guys are starting to see now. I mean, like the number of cases that you gained yesterday, this was exponential growth. Exponential growth means like this. It means 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. That's how fast it grows. And because you guys have been doing really next to nothing, at least at the federal level, and only a few states have actually done anything, this is going to get really, really worse. It's going to get bad. It's going to get very, very bad. And you guys really, really need to take action now to make sure that, it doesn't, there's like just different degrees of bad. And right now you guys are at really bad and it's going to just get like, horrendously bad. And you guys need to put on the brakes. You guys need to put on the brakes right now. America is headed towards catastrophe. And I said a few days ago that I wasn't trying to sound alarmist. Well, actually, right now, yeah, it's time to pull the alarm. okay? Because you guys clearly cannot self-govern. I mean, like, if you actually just look at the news, go online, look at the news. I mean, like, Italy is something different. Spain kind of like is having a hard time. But if you actually look at Central Europe, if you look at Germany, if you look at the Czech Republic, if you look at Austria, Slovakia, all these other countries, we took measures. Our citizens are more disciplined. We follow the rules. We're not stupid. And we're also not seeing the horrendous numbers like you guys are experiencing now in the States. You have been warned. Everyone has been warning you. And you've done nothing. This morning, I opened Fox News because I always check Fox News just to compare it to everybody else. I mean, like, I actually posted the picture of it, just the landing page from Fox News. And, most of the stories there was nothing on their front page about containment, about disinfecting, about all the steps that you need to do to prevent the spread of the virus. Fox News, it was Pelosi's fault, it's New York's fault, it's CNN's fault, it's Pelosi's fault, it's Pelosi's fault, it's New York's fault. How is that helping keeping people alive? How does that stop the spread of the virus? This loyalty, this blind loyalty, which is rarely seen outside of like North Korea, is going to have a body count. This ability to just kind of like be completely oblivious and blind. They talked about this bubble that some of you live in, and it is true. It does exist. I mean, 'cause I follow both news worlds. And, the people that live inside the bubble, the people that live outside of the bubble. Yeah, I mean, like, on policy means, sometimes there are things which are, not pleasant. Like this policy versus this policy, and everyone's pulling their hair out. You can see kind of like I have no hair, I have no more hair to pull out. But now it's not funny anymore. It's really not funny anymore. I mean, the behavior of some of these people, it's basically criminal. I mean, you people that watch Fox News, and like CNN really has irritated the shit out of me recently also. But the Fox News people, these are paid actors in the evening. These are opinion people, and a lot of them are not really clever. They're just telling you what you want to hear. Everything's going to be okay. It was a hoax and all this stuff. No. I mean, like, their behavior basically, I really think in places like in Europe, it would be criminal. They are creating a public health hazard by not helping you. One of the functions of a news organization is to provide the public with information with which they can make decisions about their lives. And that information needs to be factual, not opinion, not hope, but factual information. And you really need to get that. I mean, seriously, start looking at other news sources just to compare. I mean, because the situation there is really going to get bad. Now, the next thing, right now the focus is on New York, okay? And, like I said, it's New York's fault and all this stuff. Well, guess what? Epicenters move. That's the whole entire point of, that's the whole thing about an epidemic. It moves. So it was China, then it was Italy and Europe, and now it's the United States of America. And within the United States of America, for example, you've got New York, which is that area, which is the massive epicenter. Well, guess what? It's going to move. Because eventually, just like other places, that number is going to go down. And when that number is going down there, that means it's going up somewhere else. So if you live in an area right now and you're looking at the numbers saying, oh, well, there's not a lot of people here that have it, so we're probably going to be okay. No, you're not. Unless your local government or state government are enforcing very, very strict measures for keeping people at home, limiting the travel, then no, you're not safe. And the old people that live there are definitely not safe because they're going to get killed by just stupidity. And that's the fact. You need to do more. Like I've been saying all week, call your representatives, call your governors, call these things, make them enforce these things, make them enact these things. You guys really need to protect yourselves, and you need to protect your neighbors, and you need to protect your loved ones, and you need to protect the disabled and the people that have got diabetes and the old people, because if you don't, they're going to die. Like they are already. This is not the time for, like, well, I like what those people are saying to me, so, blah, 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 we're going to do that. No. After this, after the dust settles, then you guys can go back to your, Fox versus the world and CNN hates Trump and, whatever, impeach the shit out of each other. Who cares? I mean, like, that stuff is so not important. And that's all you guys have on the news. All of them. Fox, CNN, all that bullshit. It's just McConnell this, Pelosi that, Trump this, whatever. That is so not important right now. It is so not important. The important thing for you guys to do right now is just to take the measures to keep the spread down. That is the only thing that matters. It's so awful to sit here and see what's happening there. It did not have to be this bad. It did absolutely, and it's going to get a lot worse. They need to tell you this there. Because apparently, this kind of like holding your hand kind of stuff is really not inspiring any of you. It's not lighting the fire under any of your asses, to actually take this thing seriously and do it. Let me give you some numbers, for example. So this is from yesterday evening. All right, so this is the cases per 1 million people, okay? So right now in the United States of America, you've got 290 cases per 1 million, okay? In the Czech Republic, we're at 180. So you've got 259 and 180. And this is per million. So this is not based on, like how big, how small the country is. This is just, these are two statistics that you can measure against two countries. All right, so you're at 259, we're at 180, but here's the thing. You guys are on this way vertical curve. And we're really kind of like I said, we've been flattening because we've been taking this thing seriously. That 259 to 180, tomorrow, we're still going to be kind of like in this area. You guys are going to have this ridiculous jump tomorrow. And then the day after tomorrow, it's going to be even higher. Okay? This is where you need to have some comprehension of some, maybe intermediate level mathematics. All that shit when you were sitting in school, like, oh, we're never going to need this shit. Well, now you do. You should have studied harder, okay? And if you don't get it, you need to listen to the people that do. And not these bullshit people that are pretending to do it for you, okay? You need to listen to the actual experts. You need to find people that have got PhD after their names and not some kind of like bullshit doctor blah, blah, blah who never actually even finished a bachelor's, okay? No fake diploma bullshit now. You don't have time for that crap. All right, the other number, the deaths per 1 million. The United States is at 4. The Czech Republic is 0.8. So you're more than 4 times higher than us, and you guys keep saying, oh, you've got the greatest healthcare system on the planet and all these things, and we're just we're these stupid socialist countries. Well, look at that. Like I said, we're way into this epidemic, and you guys are really kind of like still at the beginning, and your curve is so high, and that number, that 4 is only going to increase. And it's going to keep increasing until you get way over to the top where you didn't have to be and you don't have to go because you're not doing anything. You have to take this seriously. You've got to do something. Okay? The last thing, because I know this is like, just one quick thing. On Tuesday of this week, compared to the previous Tuesday The numbers in the United States had increased 10 times, tenfold in a week. Okay? That was on Tuesday. Yeah. From Tuesday to Thursday, it was twice that. So basically, we are doubling. I think now we're down to we're doubling kind of like around like the 2 weeks thing. Yeah, you guys are doubling. I think it was kind of like almost in a day, 2 days. That number doesn't get better if you don't take it, if you don't do anything. That number is only going to accelerate. Would accelerate, like get faster and faster, which means get worse and worse. You need to do something. The last question. I mean, this is a philosophical question, and I said the original plan was never to make anything political, and like this is not going to necessarily help make the situation better, but this is something that you're going to have to think about. And 4 years ago, I was not really a fan of Hillary Clinton. I've got evidence on my Facebook page that you can see that's not true. Having said that, the one thing that I just cannot stop thinking is how much better would the situation be if she had won? When I was trying to convince, as we approached November in 2016, I was like advising people, just hold your nose and vote for Hillary. That was kind of like my thing. I was like, just hold your nose and vote for Hillary. And my reasoning behind that was this: at least we know she won't break anything. And of course, you Fox people going, oh, Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. Yeah, that's complete. That's horseshit. Any intelligent person who actually exists outside of that bubble knows that thing is just horseshit. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't great, but it wasn't criminal for Christ's sakes. But she never would have fired those people. That task force, about the pandemic task force, and damn well that she would be surrounded, and since January, planning and organizing the national response to this in order to contain it. That's on us. We didn't work hard enough to make sure that I guess it was kind of having the Trump thing for a lot of people seemed kind of fun and whatever, we're gonna do this. But look at this now. I mean, the pandemic is out of control in the United States of America. This did not have to happen, but it is happening. Are we? I would like to say that this human tragedy that that you guys will learn something from this. But after a while, day in and out when I'm reading the news, and I'm just kind of just shocked at what I see. The approval numbers are going up, and I'm like, wow, the approval numbers are basically going up with the death rate. So what does that say about you? You guys really need to get off your ass. You need to contact these people, get them to work for you, because they're not doing that right now, and they're threatening the lives of so many people there. Your aunts and uncles and your grandparents and these ill people. A lot of people are going to die now. That's not even fear mongering. I mean, that's just the truth. A lot of people there are going to die unnecessarily because there was just no leadership, and stupid leadership also. Scientists and the eggheads and the smart people and the geeks, those are the people that you need in a time like this, and those are the people that you've been shunning for the last 3.5 years. You need to get your priorities straight. You need to start working now to save people. See you tomorrow.